Our Jewish holiday is Purim. The Persian Empire of the 4th century BCE extended over 127 lands, and all the Jews were its subjects. When King Ahasuerus had his wife, Queen Vashti, executed for failing to follow his orders, he arranged a beauty pageant to find a new queen. A Jewish girl, Esther, found favor in his eyes and became the new queen, though she refused to divulge her nationality. Meanwhile, the Jew-hating Haman was appointed prime minister of the empire. Mordecai, the leader of the Jews and Esther's cousin, defied the king's orders and refused to bow to Haman. Haman was incensed and convinced the king to issue a decree ordering the extermination of all the Jews on the 13th of Adar, a date chosen by a lottery that Haman made. Mordecai gathered all of the Jews he could and fasted and prayed by Esther's request. There was a battle for the Jews' survival against humanity. The battle ended with the victory of the Jews, and Esther and Mordecai established these amazing events known as Purim.
How did it got its name? In the 3rd chapter of the book of Esther, after Haman is angered by Mordecai's refusal to bow down to him, when Haman decides to destroy the entire Jewish people, a pur, which is a lottery, was thrown before Haman, which day and which month. Only after having determined the most auspicious day to kill the Jews, did Haman go to the king. What is it so important about Haman choosing his day of rage through a lottery? By casting a pur for this most significant decision, Haman is demonstrating his Amalekite commitment beliefs. As discussed in more detail in Hanging Haman, the Amalekite nation, the opposing force of the Jewish nation, believes that chance rules the world. As much as Amalek and therefore Haman believe in the existence of God, they reject the idea that God utilizes the world for a divine purpose, and thus the very existence of the Jewish population is antithetical to their beliefs. Haman saw the cycles of history and was aware that the Jews were at a spiritual low point, so he felt certain that he would be victorious. Since victory was guaranteed, he would prove through their defeat that might made right and a single person could control destiny.
There are 4 mitzvahs of Purim: the hearing of Megillah, the giving to the poor, sending gifts to friends, and the feast. Starting with the hearing of the Megillah is often refers to the Megillah Esther, or the Scroll of Esther, which also is known as the Book of Esther, according to the Talmud. The study of the Torah is interpreted for the reading of the Megillah. Maimonides, a 12th century sage and rabbi, teaches the reading of the Megillah certainly supersedes all other mitzvah. The next mitzvah is giving to the poor. Since they all suffered the wrath of Haman, together the people must celebrate together, and this means to help the unfortunate in the community. They're supposed to give twice during the holiday, and if they can't find 2 needy people, the synagogue will have a collection for them. The 3rd mitzvah is sending gifts to friends. A mishla mano are gifts of food that friends and prospective new friends exchange on Purim, often presented in baskets. Most mishla mana include hamantashen, the traditional 3-sided pastry eaten on Purim, but may also include a wide variety of foods and treats. These gifts are frequently referred to by their Yiddish name, shalach manos. The 4th mitzvah is the feast. The feast has many traditional foods and customs celebrated it. It begins before sundown on the 2nd day, this year being March 12th, and lasts until after sundown. Costumes are worn during the Purim holiday, and many adults and children participate, thought to originate from the fact that Esther originally masked her Jewish identity. Some people choose to dress up as people from the Purim story, others dress up as Jewish figures throughout history. Traditionally, the Book of Esther is read at both evening and morning services on Purim, both in North America and in Israel. A number of customs are associated with the reading of Haman, the enemy of the Jews in this story. Is associated with all those who have tried to destroy the Jewish people throughout history. Therefore, we make loud noises, verbally or with noisemakers, at every mention of Haman's name, in order to drown it out. Derived from the Polish word meaning rattle, a groger is the noisemaker used to drown out the name of Haman during the reading of the Megillah. Beginning in the 13th century, Jews throughout Europe sounded the groger as a part of their Purim celebrations.
This year, Purim is celebrated on March 12th through the 13th of 2017. It can be celebrated at home and in the synagogue, but predominantly at home.
Significance. Purim became a spiritual revival for Jews. It celebrates God's involvement in every aspect of the world. It helped Jews go back to the Torah and reignite their faith.
Other than Haman, other notoriously evil men have been thwarted on that day. In the early 1950s, Joseph Stalin, the ruthless butcher of millions of innocent people, had bloody plans for dealing with the Jewish problem in the USSR. Just as things were reaching a crisis point in 1953, he died on Purim. Also, in 1991, Saddam Hussein of Iraq defiantly invaded nearby Kuwait. As pressure ramped up from the international community, his army began firing SCUD missiles into Israel. The Rabbi Menachem Schneerson repeatedly assured the people of Israel that they would be protected. After the US-led forces attacked Iraq, they were quickly victorious and the hostilities ended on Purim.